company 3D printed 10 houses in 24 hours or one day. There's a lot you can do with a 3D printer. Now add building a house into the list. Make that 10 houses. The Winsun Decoration Design Engineering Company, Link in Chinese, has printed 10 homes in 24 hours out of recycled material. This isn't the first time. The first attempt at 3D printing large structures in a short amount of time. Researchers in California are making a printer that can build a house in 24 hours. In Amsterdam, earlier this month, construction of a 3D printer house began. The house is made out of plastic brick and fits together like Lego. It also being printed on site. The Chinese houses, on the other hand, weren't built on site. They were printed in pieces, and then put together in Shanghai, Quixpu district. The pieces are made using recycled construction materials and industrial waste to form a concrete aggregate. Gizmodo reports the 3D printer used to build the house is 500 feet long, 33 feet wide, and 20 feet high. Each house cost about $4,800 to build. We purchased part of the printer overseas and assembled the machine in a factory in Suzhou. The company's CEO, Ma Yai, told 3Ders such a new type 3D printer structure is environment friendly and cost effective. Anyway, that's it. But just click below and go to this. You'll see pictures of it. Now, good luck in the houses, in my opinion. Thank you so much. Between Stan Dale and Alex Jones, and Stan gives you an update on what is happening in Yellowstone and what might be happening, and anything. I think it's very important for all of us to think of Yellowstone and think where we're going to be, how we're going to get there, and so forth to avoid the dangers of Yellowstone. God bless all of you.
Live, this is One for the Record. I'm Diane, and today is April 17th report and April 18th report, 2014. Here are your news updates for today. I'm combining the two because I didn't have a lot of news, so I figured the report before was very important, so I let it run an extra day. Alrighty then. So, let's go to breaking news right now. There's stuff going on with the weather. National Weather Service, slight risk of severe thunderstorms over parts of Florida. Damaging winds is main hazard. Coming out of NWSSPC, that was 21 minutes ago. Alrighty then. Moving on. Let's see if we can get further down. USGS downgrades earthquake centered in Guerrero, Mexico. Magnitude 7.2, that was on April 18th today. That was 47 minutes ago. Heads up. What else we got going on? There's always something going on. So far, no significant report of earthquake damage in Acapulco, which is just southeast of the epicenter. See, so this just happened. Alrighty then. Tsunami not expected in Mexico, and there is no threat of one in Hawaii, according to Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. Okay, there's an update from the day before. South Korean Coast Guard revises ferry survivor count. There was a ferry that had a lot of high school kids on it. that ended up capsizing. Now, and they believe that they hit something that was submerged under the water. Okay, the ferry survivor count from 179 to 174. Total passengers from 475 to 476. Death toll at 28. Missing is 274 people. A lot of people going missing. Alrighty then. Let's go to the watchers watching the world. Let's see what's going on over there. Avalanche on Mount Everest. Heads up on that. Let's see. Drought now affecting 2/3 of Texas. First Earth-sized planet found in the habitable zone of another star. Activity intensifies at Ubinas volcano, Peru. Alrighty then. Let's check. See, it wasn't a lot of things going on. Let's see. The Extinction Protocol, 2012 and beyond. Still talking about the massive earthquake, magnitude 7.5 struck Guerrero, Mexico. Also, we had a solar flare, long duration solar flare, and it's gone. Don't show it anymore. They just updated it with something else. Here we go. Scientists puzzled by recent flurry of quakes in central Idaho. So heads up. I think I already reported on that one. Alrighty then. See, it wasn't a lot. I started duplicating some reports. I'm attaching Nibiru Magic 2012, his report on Fukushima, the never-ending story. And it is 5 days down. We made it. It's Friday. Enjoy the weekend. Be safe. Be prepared for anything. And I'm going to investigate more on Yellowstone. I'm telling you, be ready for anything. Alrighty then. I'll see you again tomorrow on the flip side. Stay safe.
Have you ever had your mind blown? If not, I think it's time I've showed you something.
It is the 17th of the 4th, 2014. This is your radioactive reality. E&E News. LA news outlet Fukushima plume worries to sink fishing industry, ? Area newspaper, quote, warning readers to avoid eating locally caught fish. Some Korean newspapers in the LA area have been telling their readers for a few months now, don't eat the locally caught fish, Fukushima radiation danger. And of course, Homeland Security Center Director, a banana has 100 times more radiation than what you're going to catch in your bluefin tuna, which is complete and total bullshit. No doctor can explain what's happening to U.S. Navy officer's body. Quote, I'm basically kind of deteriorating. After Fukushima radiation exposure, my leg is 17 centimeters smaller. Same with my right arm. Radiation levels missing from medical records. That'll be interesting in court later. Former U.S. official, war in Ukraine could cause disaster worse than Chernobyl and Fukushima. Situation, quote, calls for greater global concern. Multiple scenarios result in meltdown. Foreign minister, potential threat to many nuclear facilities. You got to worry about the fog of war and all the craziness that happens during wartime. What happens if there's a power outage at one of these nuclear power plants during this revolution? Interesting things indeed. Something we should very well pay attention to. The insanity continues. Vancouver's Sun. Scientists concerned dolphin species on West Coast could be negatively impacted by Fukushima nuclear waste. People pay money to these people to do these things. Radiation levels to be increasing for years to come along the coast. Canadian government sampling for iodine-129 in the Pacific Ocean. Navy sailor skin inflammation while carrying American flag that was exposed to Fukushima plume. Whole left side of body was affected. They were immediately stripped, clothes off, hosed him down. It became an extreme emergency. That just goes to prove that the Navy knew exactly what was going on. And the insanity continues. Don't worry, folks. Everything's completely under control. National Geographic. Fukushima considered world's worst nuclear accident. Physician, Fukushima remains a global health concern. Kaku, quote, it's so bad they don't even have a picture of the melted core. It's not just one, it's 3 and 4 spent fuel pools to boot. The agony is unending and will continue. We're just getting started, folks. 1,133 days into it. Senior scientists, cancer increase expected on West Coast from Fukushima exposures. Radioactive particles can bioaccumulate from hot spots while crossing the Pacific. Concern California wildlife to be impacted. Sea life can biomagnify nuclear waste, leading to higher and higher levels of radiation. Aren't we on the top of the food chain? Oh, these poor animals. Not one peep about the people. Interesting. Radiation spike in ocean off of Fukushima. Highest cesium-137 levels at location since 2011. 22,000 becquerels in Pacific outside of the port. Japanese notifies the IAEA of elevated readings. You got to remember the coriums are no longer in the reactors. They are under the buildings and in the environment. And all kinds of strange things are just starting to get started. Hundreds of tons of water in contact with melted nuclear fuel have now flooded basement at Fukushima plants. Oops. Nearly 10 trillion becquerels of cesium, concentration of strontium-90 and other radioactive materials not reported. Do you remember there are 1,300 or so of these isotopes? Most of them so top secret, you and I will never know about them. But they only tell you about testing one at a time. The insanity continues. Fairwind's video anomalies in plants and animals documented by Fukushima residents, some severely deformed. Scientists' genetic mutation observed in Fukushima include trees with particular distortions, insect abnormalities, tumors in birds, and more. Canaries in the coal mine. Look at all the studies they did in Chernobyl. Hey, don't worry, folks. Everything's good to go for the Olympics, huh? Quake hits just off a Japan plant felt along 500-kilometer stretch of Japan coast. Seismic intensity of 4 on scale up to 7. Camera shakes for about a minute. Got to remember these buildings are damaged. They're not the only reactor buildings that were damaged in that initial quake back in 2011. We don't hear about any of these other reactors. I think there was like 17 of them declared an emergency that day. New radioactive leak reported at Fukushima on Sunday. Previous leak admitted to be far more toxic than public told. You think? Over 80 trillion becquerels flowed into the Pacific, unspecified amount, near nuclear fuel material. already rated an INES level 3 incident using much lower incorrect figures. And the stories have been coming out over and over and over again how they are lowballing the numbers on this thing. Nowhere even close to the reality. And all these so-called models, these computer models that they punch in the numbers that they want to punch into and get the results that they want to get to report to you. Don't worry, folks. Everything's perfectly under control. Just another day in the neighborhood. Nuclear engineer, radiation levels much higher in areas of Fukushima plume headed to the west coast than models show. Radio concern other isotopes besides cesium to cross the Pacific. You think? Fukushima worker on the verge of breakdown speaking about 311. I've already covered this story. The earth around me distorted like jello. Massive upheavals taking the entire reactor 1 turbine building with it. Sounds like it wanted to come apart, going to explode. Concrete floor and walls around us began to crack. Highly damaged building in a severely seismic zone. What were they thinking? They just want to turn them all back on. That's about all I have for you today. Of course, if I missed anything, please let me know. Attach your comments or your videos down in the comment box. Enjoy while you can, everybody. I am. Thanks.
By completing this video, you have proven you are capable of filming, producing, and editing your own. We expect one video from you by the end of next week. For